Here's the thing, man. It's pay now or pay later. Like at some point in your life, you got to do the work, whether it's in the beginning or later. For me, I set up my life so that I don't have to, work later.
Scarface, isn't it? First you get the money, then you get the power.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Trend Boss. Today we're going to be talking about the untold truth on how Dan Bilzerian made his millions. Make sure you stay to the end so you don't miss out on how exactly Dan Bilzerian earned his wealth in a shady way. You'll be absolutely shocked. Who is Dan Bilzerian? You may have heard of Dan Bilzerian recently, and the reason for his fame may not be exactly a good one. Dan Bilzerian is a famed poker player / entrepreneur. He's well known on Instagram, where he is known as the king of Instagram. If you look at his account, he has millions of followers and posts tons of photos of a life of pure luxury. You'll see bikini-wearing models, expensive alcohols, and trips that must cost thousands of dollars. Dan Bilzerian is a pinnacle of wealth and hedonism. He loves a good time, which sounds innocent, but he turned that into something bad by overdoing it and sinking his company. Ignite, his Instagram, may show him enjoying his lifestyle, worry-free vacations, but what it hides is something dark and shady. Let's explore the truth a little bit deeper. Paul Bilzerian, Dan Bilzerian's father. Dan Bilzerian's father is Paul Bilzerian. Paul is a businessman and corporate takeover specialist. He may not be the best role model for Dan, as he was in prison for 13 months following arrest due to fraud. He first was caught when he failed to make complete and timely filings for unsuccessful takeovers of 3 companies. This led to bankruptcy after he was ordered to discourage his profits. At a young age, Dan Bilzerian was exposed to both wealth and fraud. Interestingly enough, this became a pattern in his life during adulthood. More on Paul, who was also part of a stock parking case to further his list of fraudulent misdoings. He did have some wealth, which he put into trust funds for Dan and his brother. These trust funds may be a big part of how Dan Bilzerian is able to live the life that he does. So was Dan's life built upon his dad's fraudulent earnings? It is quite possible. Paul Bilzerian wasn't just fraudulent in the past though. It is said that he might be part of a scandalous issue with Dan Bilzerian's company Ignite. According to some, Paul Bilzerian is taking part in important Ignite meetings and making big financial decisions. The worst part is that he's no longer legally allowed to run public businesses since he was convicted. So could it be that Paul Bilzerian's fraud has lasted longer than the public may have seen, and could it have played a major role in the Ignite fraud case? It is quite possible. And if this is all true, then it shows Dan Bilzerian's money is all made dishonestly. This would be a major breakthrough in the case of Dan's mysterious wealth if all of the allegations were found to be true. As for Paul's case, this could get him in major trouble. Additionally, it all turned into a lie if it is true, since Dan claimed to only speak to his father 4 or 5 times a year. With that lie, what other lies is he holding? Dan Bilzerian's poker winnings and the mystery of his wealth. Dan is known to be a good poker player. He loves to talk about his earnings. Well, kind of. Nobody's actually sure on the amount he has made through poker. He has been estimated to have a net worth of $100 million. Just how he gets that money is a mysterious bit. One claim of how he got his wealth is apparently through poker winnings, although Dan has only ever won a televised event once. He also was part of the World Series of Poker in 2009, where he placed 180th place and only made $36,000. That is nowhere near the millions of dollars he apparently has. When asked about how much money he's made playing poker, he has a hard time answering. A quick look on the web shows that he apparently has won $50 million playing the game, but he himself has claimed to be unsure of just how much he has earned. So how can we know for sure he is making money from poker? If you would like to take Dan's word from it, he supposedly makes his earnings through private cash gains, but since it's not publicised, we can't know for sure. So this means he's good at poker, right? Again, we can't be so sure. According to a tweet from 2013, Dan claimed to have earned $10.8 million playing a game. He decided to take that earning and celebrate in Porta Velata. The vacations and models and resorts are all public, but did he really make that money from poker? According to reports, Dan isn't all that great at poker, but he never claimed he was.
No, that's the thing. Like, you have to remove your ego from these situations, So for me, I just let people talk about my poker and that I was bad and that I, had a trust fund, because that was all very helpful for me to get into these games. So it's been so long that I'm just used to, I never cared if people thought that I was good.
He apparently has a skill for picking up the most lucrative private cash games. He does play with unprofessional players after all. He said of this, "I never wanted to be the guy on TV showing everyone how good I was. I wanted to be the guy everyone thought sucked, but I could play with the rich guys. It was one thing for my life that wasn't about ego, it was about bank account." With that being said, we may have some background on how Dan Bilzerian earns through strategy and not gameplay, yet we still can't be too sure about it. Another factor to his wealth is that he is a trust fund kid, and that is thanks to his father. Let's learn more about his father now. The Ignite fraud. Dan Bilzerian founded the company Ignite in 2017. The company specializes in CBD oils, but they also sell as a vodka, water bottles, electronic cigarettes, and even clothing. Dan wanted the company to be a premium lifestyle brand, and it seemed that they were on their way there. Ignite is available in several countries, including the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, Mexico, and other countries. It seemed as though Dan Bilzerian actually invested and built something quite decent, but he ruled it all thanks to his love of spending money. Dan was able to earn with the company, but in 2019, they lost a total of around $50 million, which prevented them from being able to turn a profit. The loss came as a shock once the claim was released to the public. Ignite gets money mostly from stock sales, investors, and loans. This money obviously wasn't put to good use, seeing how Dan spent it like crazy. So how did he spend it? Well, if you take a look at social media, you will see that this company loves to party, and their parties are huge. It would easily round up a bill of worth $1 million. Each party involves paid models, expensive liquor, and huge mansions. This isn't the only irresponsible expenditure that Dan made through Ignite. Some employees have come out and gave details about the shad business of Ignite, and one anonymous employee said that Dan Bilzerian put the Ignite logo and name on anything he wants to spend money on, so the company would end up paying for it. In fact, he fired his vice president after he wouldn't approve for expenditures in the building of things like $15,000 ping pong table and a $40,000 rock climbing wall. These expenses were insane, and because they weren't approved of, the vice president of the company lost his job. Dan loves to show off his wealth. Just take a look at his Instagram account. But the thing is the money even his? We know that he spends the company's money in a highly irresponsible way, and reports came out to show he used Ignite's money to pay for yacht rentals, trips to London, and even laundry detergent, all for personal use. So does his whole wealthy life revolve around fraud? Conclusion. So to conclude, we are still not sure of exactly how Dan made his money, but we do see that he has taken money from his company and is a fraud. He claims to make most of his money through poker, which we can't be sure of either. So the biggest conclusion to be made is that he gets money not only from a trust fund, but from his father, but also from his company Ignite. That is the epitome of shady, since the money was meant to be the growth of the company. If he truly wanted a luxury brand, he wouldn't spend the money that he did. We see this on his Instagram and social media, that the Ignite logo is placed everywhere. This is just so he can use the company's money to buy more luxury items and trips. The claims and statements have helped people come to the conclusion that Dan Bilzerian has lied about his wealth and has scammed his way to his earnings and luxury life, much like his father before him. With this, we may soon find out he hasn't in fact won millions in poker, but instead lived off his trust fund to help fuel his lavish lifestyle.
You could get it anytime you want, you wouldn't value it as much.
So do you not value it then?
I don't value it as much anymore because I can get it so much. Right now, like the level of effort that I would put in to get a piece of is pretty fucking low. I got a goal. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to accomplish it. And then after that, I think I can become president.
While you are here, go ahead and click on one of these 2 videos on your screen. See you there.